Hi everyone, welcome to Granny Tales. Tonight we're going to read another story from Little Tales for Little Folk, and this one's called The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Once upon a time, in the days when wizards were still chasing spells and witches still rode on broomsticks, there lived a young boy who longed for some adventure. His name was Hugh. He lived with his mother in a tumble-down cottage by a stony track that led over the mountain. One morning, as Hugh was mending the cottage window, he happened to glance into the kitchen. There he saw his mother take down the money chest from the shelf, open up the lid and find just one gold coin. "This is all the money we have left," said his mother sadly. So there and then, Hugh made up his mind to go and seek his fortune. "Do be careful," said his mother. "Try not to get your feet wet and always wear dry socks." The sun was shining. The birds were singing as Hugh kissed his mother goodbye and set off down the stony track that led over the mountain. On and on the boy walked till up ahead he noticed a strange figure striding along the road. As he grew closer, Hugh saw that the man was a wizard. Can you believe that? A wizard? With a pointed hat and pointed shoes and a cloak covered in stars. He even had a cat. Now this is what Hugh called an adventure. The wizard smiled and held out his hand. "You look like a clever boy," he said. "I need a clever boy like you to help me with my magic spells." Hugh's eyes opened wide. The wizard went on. "Come back and work for me, and I will pay you well and teach you my magic." Hugh's eyes opened wider. "For I am a great and powerful sorcerer, and I need an apprentice." "I thought you were a wizard," Hugh gasped. "A wizard," snapped the sorcerer. "I am 1,000 times more powerful than any old wizard. I am a sorcerer." Boldly Hugh stepped forward and held out his hand. "Then I shall be the sorcerer's apprentice." The sorcerer led the way to the palace high up in the mountain. On the journey, Hugh made friends with a cat. "I'm glad I found a friend like you," he whispered Hugh to the cat, for deep down he felt a bit afraid of the sorcerer. Once inside the palace, Hugh soon forgot his fears, for everything looked so exciting. "You can help me with my spells if you like," whispered the sorcerer in Hugh's ear, and he handed the boy a cloak and a pointed hat just like his own. All that day they worked magic until Hugh was tired out. "What a wonderful day this has been," said Hugh to the cat as he fell into bed in a room high in the tower of the palace, and the sorcerer's cat settled down beside him. Next morning there was a loud knocking on Hugh's door. It was the sorcerer. In his hand he held a long list. "See that all these jobs are done before I return with my friend the witch," and off he strode. Straight away, Hugh pulled on his clothes and ran down the winding stairs. As he peeped out of the narrow window, he could see the sorcerer and the witch walking across the countryside, making mischief. And what mischief they made. Look, frogs with wings, cows with what? Flowers on it. All sorts of different little things happening. Bunny rabbits with funny little thing on his head. A fish with wings. When Hugh got downstairs, he looked at the list in despair. "I'll never do all this work before the sorcerer comes back." All at once the sorcerer's cat jumped down onto the table and sat purring on top of the big leather book. "You clever cat," cried Hugh with delight. "It's the sorcerer's big book of magic spells. Now I can do anything before he returns." Carefully Hugh opened the big book of magic spells and picked up a spare magic wand. "Broom, come out of the corner and sweep the floor." And lo and behold, the broom obeyed. "Broom, fetch some water to wash the floor." Off went the broom and came back with a bucket full of water and poured it all over the floor. Then the broom fetched another and another and another, but of course poor Hugh didn't know the magic word that stopped spells. So very soon he was up to his ankles in water and his socks were very wet. Sadly he remembered what his mother had said. "Try not to get your feet wet and always wear dry socks." How he wished he was back at home now. Very soon the water was up to his knees and still the broom kept bringing more. Suddenly there came the sound like thunder. The whole palace began to shake and fireworks seemed to be flying around the room. The sorcerer had returned. In a voice full of rage he shouted the magic word. The broom stopped and every drop of water vanished. Poor Hugh was left standing in the middle of the floor, still holding the big book of magic spells. "Give me that book, boy," yelled the sorcerer. "I will not," cried Hugh, holding it tightly. "I heard you say the magic word. Now I know it. I'm as powerful as you." Furious with temper, The sorcerer and the witch tried every magic trick they could think of to outwit Hugh. But with the big book of magic spells and the magic word, Hugh won every time. Very soon the sorcerer and the witch were hopping up and down with rage. Before they could stop him, Hugh grabbed the broom and whispered one of his spells. The broom leapt across the room and began to beat the sorcerer and the witch very hard. Away ran the wicked pair, with the broom chasing after them. Out of the palace they fled across the countryside and over the mountains until they disappeared from sight, never to be seen again. As for Hugh, he went home to his loving mother, and the sorcerer's cat went with him. They took the big book of magic spells and the magic word and always used them wisely. They all lived happily ever after, and Hugh took great care never to get his socks wet again. Hope you enjoyed that, little one. See you all. Bye.